Everybody knows the Avengers, right? You know, the biggest franchise in the world right now, the films that rule the box office after every release, the franchise with the most merchandise you'll ever see. Well, it hasn't always been this way. Go back as early to the 90s, and not many people would have cared about Iron Man and the Avengers,
Back then, the giants that ruled the superhero scene were the
or the X-Men cartoon with that banging theme tune. And Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was everywhere, and still is. The reason for this is that they had TV shows out at that time and were loved by all. The thing is, not many people in the grand scheme of superheroes read the comics. The way they fall in love with these characters are mostly through TV and film, and maybe even through video games. Because Marvel wasn't even the top dogs in the late 80s, early 90s, because that fell to DC's own Caped Crusader, Batman. Plus, before all that again, all the Superman movies were the most popular. But back to Batman. Batman kind of ruled the superhero space all throughout the 90s, and had 6 movies out between '89 and 2008, and the best Batman cartoon, the Batman Animated Series, before the MCU was even established. This just proves what I'm saying. Whatever the media is putting out in terms of superhero films and other media is what's popular with the fans, especially children, because they're very impressionable, and everything in this industry relies on nostalgia. Like, look at the new Ghostbusters movie.
In the Ghostbusters trailer, it's very much built on nostalgia, even going so far as opening the floor and seeing the ghost trap, or at the end where they reveal the car with the big Ghostbusters logo. The little marshmallow men, the little tiny ones, are like, oh, look, it's a thing I know, but it's new. It's very much reliant on nostalgia. Let's compare this to something more modern. Look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. Before 2014, this group of misfits was very unknown by most Marvel fans.
Who? Well, Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw? Forget
And
it.
then boom, the MCU came out with their own film and now one of the most popular groups in Marvel, with a sequel out and another in production. The Guardians are so big now that they play a pivotal part even in Avengers Endgame, where most people say that Star-Lord is the reason that Thanos got all the Infinity Stones. Even Groot. Groot has become one of the most popular characters ever. Everybody loves Groot, especially Baby Groot. The amount of merch that came from Baby Groot was insane. Even more recent again, with James Gunn's Suicide Squad. The amount of obscure characters brought back in this film was amazing, and they were given such good personalities and really made the audience connect with the characters, such as Polka Dot Man and Bloodsport. Before this, people wouldn't have even known who these characters were, and all by giving them a great film. And sure, people knew them from previous things, but this is where they really shined. Back to Marvel with Shang-Chi, another character that not many people really would have known. You might have known him with his connections with Spider-Man, but not much. He was brought back with a fresh lick of paint and is now a very well received superhero, especially because of the updated character with the modern story arc. Even though the people read the comics, the main way these characters become popular is through TV and movies. Because most people just don't want to sit down and read the comics. I know many children did and loved it. I read comics as a kid and it was amazing. But the MCU movies, the DC movies, everything superhero related movies just really brought the characters to life on the big screen and really just connected with their audience. So even if you've read the comics, the movies do bring something new to the superhero scene, such as Avengers Endgame. The way they twisted the storylines and made them fresh really just brought everyone back to enjoy the experience.
I bet DC could come out with a Condiment King TV show, one of the most stupid and silly villains of all time, and give him a good TV show with good character growth, he'd become one of the most popular villains of all time. Again, if the show is good, because we know some superhero films just don't hit the mark. Thank you for listening.